Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Corey C., the former Icon Census ambassador and team member of Icon Vet. I'm here today with Mr. Crypto Lark, a very special guest to discuss the recent developments of the Icon ecosystem. Thank you so much, Mr. Lark, for being on here. It's truly an honor for you to be on here.
Corey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm excited to be here and chat crypto with you.
Absolutely, man. I can't believe what's been going on in the Icon ecosystem, especially decentralization. Decentralization has been so successful. We have over 70 different public representatives, which are pretty much teams spanning from 5 different continents that are running nodes and expanding the Icon ecosystem via partnerships with governmental entities, with universities, creating applications to track your ICX, so on and so forth. It's incredible what's been going on. We have mobile staking out now. We have staking. There's about 190 million ICX in staking right now, and you get rewards annually, and the reward rate right now is 22%.
It's crazy.
It's incredible what has been achieved with Icon in silence in the recent months. It truly is incredible. It really is.
You know, I just want to come in there real quick to say that it's so interesting to see the lack of attention that incredibly robust cryptocurrencies like Icon and a handful of other cryptocurrencies, they're just not getting the attention right now. It's that we're in this weird market phase where, yeah, we see some of the other cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin kind of having these short-term pumps and then, you know, the inevitable dumps after that. But when we see the real value being built, there's some amazing things going on in the background where we just crazy partnerships, crazy technology, lots of use cases, lots of applications, and the price does nothing because it's just the market right now. It doesn't matter how good the news is. Meh.
It's true. I couldn't agree more. You have so many different projects that are truly expanding this ecosystem, and people automatically, unfortunately, presume that price is relative to progress. And right now, unfortunately, this market, it's perpetuating the notion that nothing is going on. But realistically speaking, this has been the year, specifically for Icon, for the beginning of infrastructure building. And it's incredible what we've achieved in the recent months. We have on-chain governance proposals, for example. So the way that works is the top 22 P reps, one P rep or multiple P reps can submit a proposal, and 15 out of 22 top P reps have to approve it for it to go through. And on-chain governance is such a pivotal factor of the cryptocurrency ecosystem because we need that type of governance. We need that harbinger, that herald of democracy. And that's what Icon is truly striving to be, the herald of digital democracy, creating a digital nation where people can vote, people can delegate their Icon, and they can receive rewards as well. And like I said before, they receive it every 24 hours. And the annual staking percentage rate right now is 20%.
You know, the idea of on-chain governance, it's a very interesting thing because we see what having no governance model has done to Bitcoin. And it's made any upgrades to Bitcoin painfully slow and incredibly contentious and always divisive and always giant arguments around it. And it's very hard for people to come to consensus because people who don't even have a lot of stake have big voices potentially. And you see the miners having a very strong power, particularly the miner makers and the actual the mining pools and things like this. And there's not a lot of representation there for people who are a user. I mean, if you're a Bitcoin owner, you have Bitcoin sitting in your address, well, the miners don't care about you, the developers don't care about you. And that's a harsh truth to face with Bitcoin. And I love Bitcoin, I do. But the idea of on-chain governance actually giving the power to the people who are stakeholders in that network to make decisions. I mean, that's your money you put on the line. You may not care so much if you got, you know, $20 worth of Bitcoin, but if you have $500,000 worth of Bitcoin and something's happening to Bitcoin and you don't like it and you have no say over it, your only option is to sell your Bitcoin. That's the only way you can protest against that happening. And that is unfortunate. Whereas with on-chain governance, you can have a stake, you can have a vote, right? And even if you're voted down, at least you had your damn say, you
Absolutely.
know?
Hmm. You have this paradigm shift in icon where the iconist, where the p-rep, where the foundation equally work on a united front to create these proposals, to create voice and discussion. Because like you said before, with no on-chain governance, you either have oligarchy or anarchy. And we see that, as you pointed out, with Bitcoin. And it's exactly what Icon is trying to minimize in our ecosystem. And so far, it's working. We have 70 different teams, some of them that are meeting with governmental entities, some of them who have connections to people who have been on CNN and CNBC Crypto. We have so many different teams that are geared towards, some of them are geared towards marketing. Some of them are geared towards developmental expertise. Some of them are geared towards dApp development. And mind you, these are 70 P reps looking to expand the ICX coin's maturity and value, spanning across 5 different continents. This is a global network now that's being formed, and infrastructure is being born and formed in the Icon ecosystem. And we need that precedent of on-chain governance. We really do. And we really need that precedent of communicating blockchains together, because if you can't communicate, it's like two different blockchains speaking different languages. How can you have a formidable decentralized society when you have a cryptocurrency ecosystem that can't even speak with one another?
That's absolutely true. Interoperability is going to be key for any cryptocurrency moving forward.
Mhm.
Anyone who's not focusing on interoperability, anyone who's not thinking about interoperability is going to be left behind without a doubt. And it's really interesting to see, we've just gone through this crazy bear market last year, and we've had all this up and down price action this year. And, Icon, what did it get up to, like 12 or $13 as
1264.
1264. There you go, which was wild, wild, wild. Now it's 13 cents, something like that.
About that.
Yeah, which great,
Yeah.
great buying opportunity for Icon guys.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, really, when it comes down to it, and it's amazing that in spite of all that downward price action, so much development and innovation has gone on behind the scenes. And I bring this up because price is not indicative of what's happening, right? We see some things that pump have no reason to do such a thing. But here we are, got Icon is just doing amazing work behind the scenes. And I feel like in 10 years' time, because this is the thing, you think about where we're actually going with the cryptocurrency space, right? Who's got the longevity potential? Who has the ability to stick around? And we have seen a few new blockchains launched this year, but
Hmm.
nothing compared to how many blockchains were debuted last year and in
Absolutely.
2017. And we're not seeing a lot of new ones coming on board. And I'm sure we'll see a few more as the years go on. But I think a lot of the ones that are out there now, there's definitely a saturation of
Hmm.
blockchains out there. Icon is one that stands out as having great tech, great people behind it, strong ability to move forward. So it'll be really interesting to me to look in 10 years and think, who survived,
Hmm.
right? Who actually found that market fit? And you see, like, Icon's been getting so many different like MOUs and stuff
Yep.
with government agencies and stuff. And like that's the kind of stuff that has long-term real benefits for an ecosystem, because you have those continual clients you can fall back on
Hmm.
that are big clients, that are government clients, that are using your technology in innovative and fruitful ways. And that's
Hmm.
important. The ones that can get those kind of partnerships, they're going to do really, really well. And I actually worry that a lot of these blockchains that have come out recently, I mean, except for the big ones,
Right.
Algorand and stuff like that, they have so much money behind them. It's a different equation. But a lot of the ones that didn't raise as much money and have just debuted recently, they're going to have a really, really hard time getting any partnerships, because you already have these
They are.
guys who are there a year before them who have working blockchain technology. Icon's already competing with people like Ethereum, but Icon can find its niche, right? And even thrive without a doubt. But the new guys that are coming in, they're really going to struggle to get anything. I think we're going to see a lot of blockchains that'll be kind of one trick ponies. They'll get one big partner and then that'll kind of fizzle
Hmm.
out, and then nobody uses it.
Absolutely. And it's incredible how much, in regards to employee base, Icon has expanded. Icon, the foundation itself now, has over 150 employees. And that's not even taking into account the 70 P-Rep teams that can span from 3 people to 25. And,
Yeah, just
there's
and
just,
all the excited community members like
uh-huh.
yourself, right?
Exactly, exactly. And to me, honestly, one of the most exciting things that I wanted to bring up is before, as we spoke about interoperability. But before I get to that, I just want to highlight a few things that the PREPs have been doing. For example, there's a particular PREP in France that has partnered with universities to educate the populace on ICON. There's another PREP team that's been speaking to Jeju Island's governor. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but what they're trying to do is utilize something called lock tokens within Jeju Island, and ICX would be used as fees, which would be
Nice.
a huge use case.
And I know most of your listeners probably know, but Jeju Island's a little island in South Korea that is
Yes.
kind of a bit administratively different, and they're trying to push for different regulations on
Yes.
Jeju Island to allow for, more innovation and sandboxing to happen in South Korea. So go ahead.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. And we have mobile staking now. We have mobile staking, so people can stake their coins from not only their ledger, but they can stake it from their phone. Easy and convenient. Which another barrier of entry in cryptocurrency is a lack of convenience. And Icon is perpetuating the sense of convenience for people who want to earn staking rewards. And it's that easy to do. It really is. It's incredible. And not to mention, I mean, the legitimacy of the ICX coin speaks for itself when an hour ago, ICX was listed on Binance US,
That's
which,
right. That's
which,
right, which is obviously a very good place to be listed. I really feel that Binance US is going to start giving Coinbase a pretty big run for its money, considering the fees are astronomically
oh my
lower.
gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. And these are just a few things to highlight. Some of our team members have connections, like I said before, to individuals who have been on CNN, CNBC Crypto. We have individuals building different decentralized applications that will utilize, excuse me, the ICX coin. I just don't want to announce too many things. I rather the PREP teams do that themselves, but I'm just outlining a few major factors that 70 different PREPs are beginning to achieve. Tipping bots for Reddit, for example.
Let me ask you a question. What for you is the most interesting or substantial, or just your favorite, whatever, for whatever reason it might be,
Mm-hmm.
application which is built or being built on top of Icon?
Sure. So one of my favorite, excuse me, one of my favorite applications that have just been released is something called, so it was created by a PREP team called BlockMove. And I'm the type of person that cares a lot about transparency. So what BlockMove, what their application does, or their tracking device, so to say, is it allows iconists to realize and see how much money PREPs are making per month, because it's all about transparency. It's all about clarity. It's all about the iconists understanding what's happening, what's being made, where are the rewards going, where are they coming from, how much are they making. Transparency is very important. So I am a big fan of PREP team BlockMove and what they've done to assist in transparency regarding monetary compensation. I think that's crucial. I think that's very crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these, in most blockchains, you see definitely a lack of accountability, and you see collusion and all this crazy stuff going on, which, man, I feel like sometimes with some cryptocurrencies, we are recreating the worst of the stuff that we're trying to escape when we talk about the financial system and centralization and all these different things. And that's why it's so important that you find ones that are doing the good things, that are building constructively. I made a portfolio video recently, but this is an aside, but I made a portfolio video recently, and I have cut a lot of stuff, and there's a little too much stuff in my portfolio anyway, but Icon is one of the ones that I have never cut, actually. In fact, I doubled my position on Icon during the bear market.
That's
and
awesome.
I'll probably get some more. I'll still staying down here at 13 cents, man. It's like,
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah.
For what it's worth, man, my entire holdings are an Icon. I own nothing else besides Icon.
That's
And
fascinating. Not even any Bitcoin?
nope, not a dollar
Oh
worth.
man, I love you. This is great. This is
Yeah.
great. You're like this creature out in the wild. I love it, man, because honestly, you don't meet many people who are like just totally all in on, one blockchain,
Hmm.
right? I mean, I'm all over the place, right? I've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a
Hmm.
whole host of other stuff, right? And I think even a lot of people you'd find like, okay, well, they're Ethereum, but they've got a little bit of Bitcoin or a little bit of something else in
Hmm.
there as well, or they're trading in and out, trying to get more Bitcoin and more Ethereum, and
Hmm.
to go all in on one ecosystem. It's a very interesting play. I've actually thought about this as kind of a portfolio move before, where you could go like, okay, I'm going to be the Neo ecosystem guy, or I'm going to
Hmm.
be just as obviously easier with Ethereum because almost everything is built on Ethereum right now. So in terms of only having an icon portfolio, um, which is interesting. Are there any? Because I don't. Is there any tokens available for sale that are built on Icon yet, or is it only Icon? I know there's applications being built, but are there any
There's
public ICO tokens yet?
There is a token created by PREP team Velic. It's something called Velt. So Velic, what it pretty much is, it's a decentralized exchange. It's actually very beneficial for me in New York because I can't use Binance US, I can't use Kraken, I can't use any of those. So
New
what?
York, man.
It's horrible. I hate it here.
Those
I hate it
guys.
here. I hate it. Uh,
They're one of the states with the worst regulations. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the highest real estate rates. But no, seriously, they allow individuals to. It's an exchange. It's an exchange built on Icon, and you can utilize. I don't know the exact purpose of the coin, but there is a coin that's built in the ICX ecosystem called Velt, which was built by Velic, who is the number 2 PREP, who is building loan programs, grant programs on their exchanges. It's really incredible what they're doing as well. It really
Nice.
is.
Because I remember back in the day, I was looking around. I know there was definitely a few projects that proposed, and I think one of them was a blue whale. They were building on Icon, and
Hmm.
I can't remember who else. There's a couple other projects that were scheduled to build on Icon. I guess maybe that never transpired with them. Well, let me ask this interesting question for you because you're
Sure.
obviously a big Icon ecosystem enthusiast. So, what do you think is stopping more people from building on Icon? Why don't we see a bigger proliferation of ICOs and new dApps and tokens being launched on Icon?
I think it's first of all, I think it's because there's very little new money flowing into the market, so I feel that that's also a big reason why people aren't building on Icon. And also, I feel as if ICX right now, in my personal opinion, slightly needs to improve on their marketing and communication because, for example, all of these certain things have come out in the last 5 to 6 months, and not many people are aware of how much has been going on. Like, perfect example, we have our blockchain transmission protocol, which is now in proof of concept and is ready for commercialization in early 2020, which would be able to, which everybody has been so excited for, working on interconnecting different blockchains, public and private, which was a
Mm.
pivot. It's has been a focal promise and component of Icon for the last 2 years, and now it's set for commercialization in 2020.
Do you
And
think that's some kind of maybe a cultural issue where most of the Icon main team is Korean, and do you think there's any kind of cultural or linguistic barrier there that they're not communicating in a better fashion with the global community about what's happening with Icon, or is it just sort of they're just such nerdy tech dudes and they're just like, well, who cares, whatever, somebody will find out about our technology eventually.
I think it's the idea that up until October, when the PREP started to come in, there was, I guess you could say, a regional influence with Icon, specifically South Korea. But now you're starting to see people starting to build decentralized applications on Icon and technological developments. For example, for my team, for a perfect example, the team that I'm on, Icon Vet, we're based in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm in New York, so we're starting to have an expansionary notion of unprecedented proportions. And I think one of the focal components why people haven't realized the potential of Icon is because of the not the lack, but improvements in communication need to occur.
Mm,
And
mm.
specifically right now, which I really want to get into, is the MyID Alliance, which is gigantic. For example, we go back a year from now, September 2018. Icon Foundation announced that Icon Loop was selected as an operator in the Sol blockchain demonstration project, which was commissioned by the by the Seoul Metropolitan Government. The Seoul Metropolitan Government in October of 2018 hosted the Blockchain International Digital Festival, where Icon demonstrated 3 of its products: the blockchain-based citizens card, a voting mechanism, and a payment system. We have in February 2019, Icon Foundation announced that the Seoul Metropolitan Government had appointed members of its governance team, a blockchain governance team, a group of 100 people working on providing blockchain administration services across several industries using the Icon public chain. And this would participate, the blockchain governance team would participate in the development process of Seoul Metropolitan City's administration services, mileage point integration, citizenship cards, online authentication without documents, protection for part-time workers' rights, and subcontract payments. These are huge things. May 2019, Min Kim, our excuse me, a chairman of Icon, tweeted in response to an article published by The Block and revealed that Icon Loop's Loop Chain is Seoul Metro's standard blockchain platform for all current and future applications for Seoul Metropolitan Government. That's gigantic. That's huge. And I'm not even getting into the S-coin factors. I'm not even getting into those intricate components, because MyID Alliance is also something gigantic, where MyID pretty much is a digital digital blockchain ID ecosystem, pretty much, that puts IDs in the hands of individuals through the blockchain, through Icon Loop. And some partners, which MyID was only announced a few months ago. Mind you, MyID has partners including Samsung Insurance, Samsung Securities, Payco, Kyobo, and among another 37 partners. And their main goal is to garner over, what's the number? By 2020, securing 50 MyID Alliance partners, and by Q4 2020, securing 100 MyID Alliance partners. And these are alliance partners that are gigantic behemoths in the sphere of technological and financial influence. This is gigantic. This is, in my opinion, history in the making, because it allows for people to own their own identity on the blockchain. And I think that's gigantic, with all these different partners that are involved. I mean, this is, for example, Samsung. If Samsung didn't realize the legitimacy of Icon, they wouldn't be partners. They wouldn't.
No, obviously not. And that we have to expand that out a little bit, because you have to start thinking, okay, well, Samsung has been very pro crypto, right? Samsung has been putting different cryptocurrencies into their key store, putting wallets onto the new phones, right? The new generation of phones, which obviously is totally massive. And we see a situation where different blockchains can really start cornering major niches, right? I mean, you could easily see, okay, Bitcoin's going to be digital gold, right?
Yep.
Ethereum's going to be doing a whole host of really serious financial stuff with decentralized finance and all this. If we can even just, if even Icon were just to do one thing, if they were just to do decentralized IDs on massive scale, working with Samsung, who, by the way, is the world's #1 seller of phones. I mean, we're talking, they're moving, tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of units every single year. If every phone has built into it an Icon wallet and an application that says, make your decentralized ID here, that becomes really, really big. Obviously, you need acceptance from major platforms and stuff, but that's all being built. We're talking about technology that's being built today that's going to be, taking off in the next couple of years. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost with crypto, because they look and they want it today. They want to get rich tomorrow. At the latest, I'd prefer to get rich in an hour. Tomorrow, that's a long time to wait, right?
Exactly.
Whereas actually, we're talking about technology that is going to have a multi-year impact. If you go back to the 90s, right, and we look at the way the internet rolled out, it didn't roll out overnight.
No,
in fact, there were, nobody could have envisioned YouTube or Facebook in 1995. They just didn't. The technology didn't even exist yet for something like YouTube, right? There's all these things that had to come together to make that happen.
Absolutely.
And we see this moving forward with, for example, things like decentralized identification protocols where, yeah, even if it just starts off where the city of Seoul and then, all of South Korea, they're using Icon and they have their IDs based on that. And then you can use it to prove your age at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
You can use it to buy something online. You can use it when you go to your doctor and all this stuff. And if you see a whole country or even just one major city like Seoul actually adopting that technology on a wide scale, that becomes game-changing of itself. But when that proof of concept is proved in the field with millions of people, then all of a sudden Japan looks over and goes, "Wow, that looks pretty good. We'll just use that blockchain. They're already doing that. They've already done it. We like those guys. Let's do that too." And then it builds, right?
Yep. It's so funny you say that because MyID is actually the partners are now one. I had a podcast with Ricky Dodds and Dr. Icon, very, very, very prominent members of the Icon Foundation. And we were speaking about how Icon is now expanding into Europe, specifically the Czech Republic. So when it comes to regional influence, Icon is now expanding at a rapid pace. We have the amalgamation of different decentralized applications that are being created on the Icon ecosystem. For example, my Icon Vet specifically, we're creating something called Contribution DAO, which is a merit-based system which will reward people, iconists within the Icon ecosystem, based on their proposals, their contributions, and their merit. I think it's crucial that we have these different applications and protocols being built so that when we do hit on the forefront an entire not just one metropolitan government but an entire country or countries, we have this flourishing ecosystem which we are creating now. And the people behind MyID, the chairman of the advisory forever, for example, I can't pronounce his name, I'm probably going to botch it, but Hun Jae Lee, he's the chairman of Future Consensus Institute. He's the former deputy Prime Minister of South Korea, the first chairman of the Financial Services Commission. There is Ji Yon Shin, president of the Financial Education Council, the former chairman of the Financial Services Commission. We have an attorney admitted in New York and Washington, D.C., Jung Go Lee, at Kim and Chang, president of Self-Regulation Council, Korea Blockchain Association. We have Jung Wook Lim, managing director of Startup Alliance Korea, former CEO Lycos. These are huge, huge names that are looking to expand the Icon ecosystem through Icon Loop and the digital identification service that we're looking to expand and create and unify under the Seoul metropolitan government and beyond through Icon Loop technology, which is an incredible feat. For me, when you have governmental legitimacy, that's gigantic, and that's what's crucial.
That's it, because it's a big ask from a government to say, "Hey, trust us with the IDs of the entire nation or of the biggest city in the country," right? So, very, very stuff. We barely scratched the surface. I know we're out of time now, but we've barely scratched the surface of all the exciting stuff that's going on with Icon. And man, it's a great refresher for me to talk to someone like you who's so passionate about Icon and the community and all that stuff. So, very, very cool, man. Thanks for
thank you so much.
Time to sit down with me.
Oh, the pleasure's, thank you so much. The pleasure's all mine. I've been following you since 2017. You're one of the most, if not the most genuine and noble crypto YouTube influencers out there. You're not just, a type of YouTuber that says this price is going to go up in one day or something like that. You sit down and you educate the community. And I've always followed you since 2017. And I never thought I'd be able to speak to you face to face. So this is truly an honor. And I truly hope to speak with you again, man.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lark. You have a great rest of your day.
You too.